studying your last two. I swim with tea when they turned in. The staring out to mute and can learn the pole that sunk he died.
This slide brings together one of the most important concepts in compensation planning. Before deciding between salary, dividends, or a combination of both, advisors must first understand the complete owner-manager profile. Too often, compensation decisions are treated as tax calculations, but successful planning requires a much broader perspective. At the center of the slide, we see the owner-manager surrounded by several interconnected planning areas. This illustrates an important reality. Every major financial decision is connected to other aspects of the client's life. Let's begin with lifestyle and spending. How much cash does the client need to support their current lifestyle? What are their housing costs, transportation expenses, and personal spending requirements? These factors influence how much compensation may be required today. Next, we look at family circumstances. Does the client have a spouse or partner? Are there children or dependents? Are childcare costs or future education expenses part of the family's financial picture? These considerations often affect both cash flow needs and long-term planning objectives. The next area is retirement planning. How does the client plan to retire? Will they rely on CPP benefits, RRSPs, corporate investments, retained earnings, or other sources of wealth? Retirement goals play a major role in determining whether salary, dividends, or a hybrid approach may be most appropriate. Now consider the business profile. What is happening inside the corporation? Are profits growing? Is cash being retained for future opportunities? Does the business require ongoing investment or expansion capital? The answers to these questions influence how much money should remain inside the corporation and how much should be distributed to the owner. Financing needs are another important consideration. Does the client plan to purchase a home, refinance debt, or apply for business financing? Many lenders pay close attention to income verification, which may make salary more valuable in certain situations. Finally, we come to tax planning. This includes salary versus dividends, CPP participation, government incentives, tax credits, and both personal and corporate tax considerations. Tax planning remains important, but notice that it is only one part of the overall picture. The central message of the slide captures the entire philosophy of compensation planning. A compensation strategy should be built around the client, not around a tax formula. That single statement summarizes everything we have covered throughout this chapter. When advisors understand the client's life, family situation, retirement goals, business objectives, financing plans, and tax considerations, they can develop recommendations that are customized and meaningful. The key takeaway is simple. The better you understand the client, the better the compensation recommendation. Effective compensation planning starts with understanding people first and tax rules second. Once the complete client profile is understood, the compensation strategy becomes much easier to design and much more likely to support the client's long-term success. This slide summarizes the entire planning landscape that surrounds the salary versus dividend decision. One of the biggest misconceptions in compensation planning is the belief that there is a single correct answer. In reality, there are many possible paths, and the right path depends entirely on the client's goals and circumstances. The compass at the center of the slide illustrates the most important concept. Every compensation strategy should begin with client goals. The destination is not salary. The destination is not dividends. The destination is helping the client achieve their financial objectives. Once the destination is clear, we can determine which path is most appropriate. On the left side of the slide, we see salary road. This path is often attractive when factors such as CPP participation, RRSP contribution room, mortgage qualification, earned income requirements, or tax credit eligibility are important. For many younger owner-managers, growing families, and clients focused on long-term wealth accumulation, salary may provide valuable planning advantages. Now look at the right side of the slide. This is dividend road. This path often becomes more attractive when flexibility is important, when corporate cash retention is a priority, or when the client is approaching retirement and wishes to distribute accumulated corporate wealth. Dividends can also reduce CPP obligations and provide a simpler administrative structure. For some clients, these benefits become increasingly important over time. In the middle, we see hybrid road. This is often where many owner-managers ultimately end up. Rather than choosing one method exclusively, they combine salary and dividends in a way that supports multiple objectives at the same time. A hybrid strategy can provide CPP participation and RRSP route, while also delivering flexibility and tax efficiency. This is why compensation planning is often about balance rather than extremes. As we look across the landscape, we see several important signposts: age and life stage, lifestyle needs, retirement timing, childcare and family obligations, corporate cash requirements, mortgage plans, CPP preferences. Each of these factors influences the direction of the compensation strategy. Think of these signposts as planning variables. The more clearly we understand them, the easier it becomes to identify the most suitable path. The message at the bottom of the slide captures the essence of the entire chapter. Every client has a unique journey. The right path is the one that helps them achieve their goals, while supporting both their business and their personal life. That is why compensation planning should never be reduced to a simple tax calculation. Instead, it should be viewed as part of a broader financial planning process that considers personal objectives, business strategy, family priorities, risk tolerance, and long-term vision. The key takeaway is simple. Every planning factor influences the direction. When advisors understand the complete landscape, they can guide clients toward the compensation strategy that best supports their unique financial journey. This slide serves as the final conclusion to the entire compensation planning discussion. Throughout this chapter, we have examined many different factors that influence the salary versus dividend decision. We discussed lifestyle needs, retirement planning, CPP participation, RRSP contribution route, mortgage qualification, childcare expenses, corporate cash retention, tax credits, age-related planning, and retirement distribution strategies. Now the question becomes, how do we turn all of those discussions into a practical compensation plan? The answer is shown in the framework at the top of the slide. The process begins with understanding the client. Before any recommendation is made, the advisor must develop a complete picture of the client's personal, financial, and business circumstances. Once that understanding is established, the next step is identifying goals. What does the client want to achieve? Are they focused on growth, retirement, family support, tax efficiency, business expansion, or a combination of these objectives? Next comes evaluating the planning factors. This is where the advisor considers all of the variables we have discussed throughout the chapter. Only after those factors have been evaluated do we move into analyzing the benefits of salary and the benefits of dividends. At this stage, the objective is not to prove that one method is better than the other. The objective is to understand how each option supports the client's goals. Once that analysis is complete, The advisor creates the compensation strategy. And because life changes, the process does not stop there. The strategy should be reviewed regularly and updated whenever the client's circumstances evolve. Now let's look at the left side of the slide. These are situations where salary is often helpful. Building CPP entitlement, creating RRSP contribution room, qualifying for a mortgage, supporting childcare and family planning, accessing salary-based tax credits, and building wealth during the earlier stages of a career. These are all valid reasons why salary may play an important role in the compensation plan. On the right side, we see situations where dividends are often helpful. Retirement income distribution, strong existing assets, significant retained earnings inside the corporation, administrative simplicity, flexible access to cash, and supporting long-term business opportunities. These are situations where dividends may offer meaningful advantages. In the center of the slide, we see the customized compensation blueprint. Notice that the focus is not on choosing one side. The focus is on building the right mix. That is why the hybrid strategy section at the bottom is so important. For many owner-managers, the best answer is not all salary and not all dividends. Instead, it is a customized blend of both. Salary can be used where earned income benefits are valuable. Dividends can be used where flexibility and tax efficiency are important. Together, they create a solution tailored to the client's specific circumstances. This brings us to the final message of the chapter. There is no perfect salary dividend formula, no universal percentage, no one-size-fits-all solution. The best compensation plan is the one that aligns with the client's personal goals, business objectives, and stage of life. When advisors follow a structured planning process and focus on the complete financial picture, they can create compensation strategies that are practical, flexible, and aligned with long-term success. That is the ultimate purpose of compensation planning. Not finding the lowest tax number, but helping clients achieve their broader financial goals through thoughtful and customized decision-making.